I said on my first day in this new job about 6 weeks ago, that 5 years into the longest period of budget austerity that the NHS has ever faced, the stakes have never been higher. We also know that there's more opportunity in front of us, and we see that through the persistent quality and cost variations that continue to exist through the NHS. But as NHS managers, we're not just in the business of performance. As NHS leaders, we're in the business of change. To those of us in healthcare management roles, wherever we're doing that as career managers or as clinicians, let's always remember that we're here for a social purpose, not as of right. The ultimate test of everything we do has to be, does it help improve the health and care of the people that we serve? But let's also have self-confidence and ambition. To those armchair naysayers who assert that good management is a luxury the NHS can do without, let's remind them that the evidence is in fact now clear. Quality of care, staff fulfilment, and wise stewardship of resources all go up when great managers get to work in the National Health Service. I think it was former ICI chairman Sir John Harvey-Jones, one of a long line of outside gurus given a review panel or a TV show to look at how the NHS is run, who once said that if the Victorians were still around, they'd be erecting statues to honour NHS managers, just as they did years ago for industrialists and municipal leaders and public figures in Manchester, Birmingham and London. But to those of you who fancy the idea, and I think I've met a few people who quite easily see themselves on a plinth, don't hold your breath. Statues are out of vogue, and for the reasons that Chris has set out a moment ago, they miss the point. It's not a few heroic individuals in the mould of Thomas Carlyle that are going to save the National Health Service. It's a different type of leadership and a more nuanced range of management skills and behaviours. And today's new King's Fund report on collective leadership makes that case well. Frankly, that will be easier when the leadership of the NHS better mirrors the people that we serve. It can't be right, for example, as Roger Klein's recent research has pinpointed, that 10 years after the launch of the NHS Race Equality Plan, while 41% of NHS staff here in London are from black and minority ethnic backgrounds, similar in proportion to the Londoners they serve, only 8% of Trust Board directors were, and 2/5 of London Trust Boards have no BME directors at all. Yet diversity in leadership, we know, is associated with more patient-centred care, greater innovation, higher staff morale, and access to a wider talent pool. In my own career, I reflect on the fact that down the years I've benefited from having had 3 black bosses and a woman as my line manager. But in each case, that's been when I've been working outside the NHS. In my view, that's got to change. Getting movement on this will, of course, mean winning hearts and minds. But I also want to use this opportunity this morning to restate the importance of technical management skills and the necessity of strong operational disciplines. Yes, we do need inspirational leadership in the NHS, with all that implies, but we also need strong management skills, and one is not a substitute for the other. So, in our commissioning processes, let's have rigorous use of quantitative analysis, empirical modelling, and well-designed, controlled experimentation. And in our provider services, let's not undervalue the need for well-run hospitals, community and primary care services, outpatient departments where the phone is answered, clinics where tests and investigations are all synced up, accurate waiting list management and PTLs in routine use, patient discharge information in the hands of GPs on the day someone goes home, if not before. We know how to do this. Most places do it well. It makes a huge difference to patients. So I'll just end, Chris, where I began with these remarks, with the observation that I do genuinely believe that if it's the NHS's capacity for change and improvement that is central to its future, then it's going to be the quality of management and leadership that have never been more important. We need leaders drawn from the clinical professions, from third sector organisations, from local government, from overseas, from the private sector, but we also need to nourish and invest in homegrown NHS leadership. And wherever our leaders come from, we're looking for people, in my view, who respect our history without being a hostage to it, who inspire for the future while juggling in the present, who understand both that the devil is in the detail, but where there is no vision, the people perish, who create unconventional partnerships to generate non-obvious options, who find win-win solutions while challenging emperors with no clothes, who lead by example but make the unpopular call, who blend rigorous experimentation with the courage of their convictions, and of course, who think like a patient and act like a taxpayer. Yes, these are some of the toughest leadership roles in the world, but they're also some of the most worthwhile. And that's why it's a huge personal privilege to have a chance to work with you, and thank you for all that you do.